All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to take an incredible trip, a voyage of discovery, really, through one of the most important networks in the entire universe, the one that's inside you right now. We're talking about your cardiovascular system.
So, have you ever really thought about it? I mean, there's a massive, super complex highway system running inside your body 24/7. It's delivering all the good stuff and hauling away the trash, and it does it all without a single red light. That's exactly what we're going to explore, and we'll do it by following one little traveler on its epic journey through this incredible network.
Okay, so our journey starts in what you could call the body's ultimate transport system. It's this amazing fluid that's so much more than it looks. We're talking, of course, about blood, the real river of life.
So, check this out. If you were to take some blood and spin it down in a centrifuge, this is what you'd get. See that yellowish liquid at the top? That's the plasma. It's mostly water, sure, but it's jam-packed with proteins, hormones, all that good stuff. Then, way down at the bottom, that thick red layer, that's almost all red blood cells. And that super thin, kind of pale line right in the middle, well, that's called the buffy coat, and that's where you find all your white blood cells and platelets. It's a perfect snapshot of what makes up this river of life.
Okay, so let's meet our main character for this trip, the erythrocyte. That's just the fancy name for a red blood cell. And this is no ordinary cell, believe me. It's basically a highly specialized oxygen delivery driver. Its shape is really cool. It's a biconcave disc. Just picture a tiny donut, but the hole doesn't go all the way through. That unique shape gives it a massive surface area for grabbing oxygen, and it makes it super flexible so it can squeeze through the absolute tiniest blood vessels. Its whole job, its entire mission, is to pick up oxygen and drop it off where it's needed. Simple, but so important.
Now, every traveler needs an engine to get going, right? Well, for our little red blood cell, that engine is the heart. It's this incredibly powerful, relentless pump that keeps the whole system moving. You see, the heart isn't actually just one pump. It's really two pumps, side by side, working in perfect harmony. The right side of the heart takes in all the used blood from the body, the stuff without much oxygen, and sends it over to the lungs. Then, the left side gets that fresh, oxygen-rich blood from the lungs and pumps it out to your entire body. It's an absolutely brilliant design, this double pump system. It's really the engine room for the whole highway. And just how hard does this pump work? Well, get this. In an average 75-year life, the human heart beats almost 3 billion times. That's just incredible. Think about that for a second. Pumping millions and millions of gallons of blood, and it never ever takes a vacation. What a machine. Okay, our red blood cell is fueled up and ready to roll, so let's follow it. We're going to trace its exact path as it enters the heart and gets shot out on its mission through that massive network of blood vessels.
Now, this path might look a little complicated, but it's actually pretty logical. Let's walk through it. First, our little cell, which is now carrying waste carbon dioxide, comes into the heart's right atrium, step 1. From there, it gets squeezed into the right ventricle, step 2. Then, wham! The right ventricle pumps it straight to the lungs to drop off the CO2 and pick up fresh oxygen. That's step 3. All reoxygenated, it comes back to the left atrium, step 4. Then it goes into the super powerful left ventricle, step 5. And for the grand finale, step 6, the left ventricle gives one huge squeeze and launches our cell out to the rest of the body. Boom! Mission starts.
And this shows you those two circuits we were just talking about perfectly. On one side, you've got the pulmonary circuit. That's the short trip. It goes from the right side of the heart to the lungs and back to the left side. You can think of it like a quick pit stop at a gas station to get a full tank of oxygen. Then, you've got the systemic circuit. That's the cross-country road trip. It's the huge loop from the left side of the heart out to every single part of your body and then all the way back to the right side. That's the main event.
So what are these actual highways called? Well, we've got arteries and veins. And here's the easiest way to remember the difference, and it's all about direction. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Just think A for away. That's it. So veins do the opposite. They bring blood back to the heart. It really is that simple. But wait, where does the actual delivery happen? Not on the main highways. It happens in the capillaries. Think of these as the tiny little neighborhood side streets that connect the big arteries to the veins. They are so small, red blood cells have to line up single file to get through. This is the real delivery zone. It's here that our red blood cell finally drops off its precious oxygen to the tissues and picks up the trash, the carbon dioxide, for the trip back to the heart. So that raises a big question. What actually tells the heart to beat? You might think it's the brain, but not directly. The heart has its own amazing internal power grid.
It's an electrical system that literally generates its own spark of life.
It all kicks off in a tiny spot called the sinoatrial node, or SA node for short. This is the heart's natural pacemaker. It sends out an electrical spark that zips across the top chambers, the atria, telling them to squeeze. Then the signal hits a little checkpoint, the AV node, where it pauses for just a split second. That little delay is crucial. After the pause, the signal races down to the bottom chambers, the ventricles, and tells them to pump. This perfect timing, this whole sequence, is what gives you a strong, coordinated heartbeat. It's like a tiny electrical symphony.
So our little red blood cell has traveled thousands of miles, making countless deliveries. But, its journey can't go on forever. So now we're going to look at the final chapter of our cell's story. Its amazing life cycle, from beginning to end.
After about 120 days on the job, that's 4 months of nonstop work, our red blood cell starts to get a little old, a little tired. It's not as flexible as it used to be, and eventually it gets pulled out of circulation. But here's the cool part. Its story doesn't just stop there.
You know how a bruise changes color over a few days? We've all seen it happen. Well, what you're actually watching is the end of a red blood cell's life, happening right there on your skin. That whole rainbow of colors is literally the process of hemoglobin. That's the oxygen-carrying stuff inside the cell being broken down and recycled.
Yeah, every color tells a different part of the story. So at first, it's reddish, right? That's fresh blood full of oxygen. Then, as that blood loses its oxygen, it turns that dark blue or purple color we all know. After that, the body's cleanup crew gets to work. They start breaking down the hemoglobin, turning it into a greenish compound called biliverdin. And finally, that biliverdin breaks down even further into bilirubin, which is yellow. So when your bruise turns yellow, you know the cleanup is almost done. It's like a little biology lesson right on your arm.
So this whole thing is just a big, continuous cycle of renewal. New red blood cells are constantly being born in your bone marrow. They start out as stem cells and then mature into the little oxygen carriers we've been following. They go out, do their job for about 4 months, and when they're worn out, they get sent to the liver and spleen for recycling. And I mean recycling. The iron from the hemoglobin is saved to make new cells, other parts are broken down and removed. In this system, absolutely nothing goes to waste. It's incredibly efficient.
And that's really the most amazing part. It's not just a highway, it's more like a living, breathing city that runs itself. A constant, non-stop loop of deliveries, trash pickup, and rebuilding, all happening inside you, every single second of your life, without you even having to think about it.
I mean, this system is an absolute masterpiece of engineering and endurance. But what happens when something goes wrong? What happens when that perfectly flowing highway gets a massive traffic jam, a blockage? Well, thinking about that opens up a whole new chapter, one that's all about keeping this incredible system healthy and running smoothly.